So, as I mentioned last episode, I had some footage that didn't record properly, and it accomplished a fair bit. So, first we took some gravity potions, visited some floating islands, and you can see we visited a fair few. Apparently there are some wings that you can possibly find, I believe, in floating islands in this version. Didn't get any of those though, but we did get a couple of Star Furies and a couple of lucky horseshoes and a shiny red balloon from that, which was what I wanted, particularly the lucky horseshoe. Wings would have been nice, but I just wanted some full protection. And from there we went to the jungle to explore, but first we smashed a shadow orb, picked up a musket and a few musket balls, as you'd expect, and went to explore the jungle, which we got a fair way in. Found the minecart. We did die a couple of times. Found plenty of things in the jungle, including the anklet of the wind. We found some living mahogany wands, and we also found the bizarre fiberglass fishing pole. So might end up doing some fishing, particularly for potion fish. Maybe the odd quest fish, but I'm not going to be super involved in those this playthrough. And we also had a goblin army spawn in. Died a fair bit doing that, so probably died to a goblin archer here. We've got goblin thief, goblin archer, a fair few deaths. I eventually camped out by the nurse whenever I was feeling low on health, so got that, survived that. I will fight the goblin army again at some point, but I'll probably wait for it to naturally spawn. Either that or just when I naturally collect enough tattered cloth. I won't particularly farm for it, but I will show it at some point. Especially in hard mode, fight it again to fight the mini boss that comes with hard mode goblin army. And what that meant is that when we went back to the jungle, we found Gundar the goblin tinkerer. Bought a pair of rocket boots and the tinkerer's workshop, and managed to craft the lightning boots. We also crafted our clock, radar, and not radar, the clock, the depth meter, and the compass into the GPS. So that saved us a couple of inventory slots. That is about all that was missed. I would like to go back into the jungle, explore around a little bit more. However, it is still fairly dangerous. So what would make it a lot easier would be if I were to build an outpost there. And I already know where I'm going to build the outpost. I'm going to build it in this hollow here. There's plenty of rooms to sneak in a couple of huts. It is fairly close to corruption, so in hard mode that might possibly be a concern, but at least we'll be close enough to deal with it. And we are going to need to deal with the corruption in hard mode anyway, because it's close on this side and it's also close on this side. So if we don't get on top of that, we risk losing out on our jungle biome for the Plantera fight. Not the worst thing because we can always make our own, but that would be a lot of work. And also we want to keep it nice and safe for when we head down to the golem fight anyway. So once I finish this little outpost, move in a few NPCs, depending on which ones feel like it, depends on who will move in there. I'll head back into the jungle, explore around a little bit more, see if we can find a temple. And then we'll see where we go to from there, possibly even fighting the Eater of Worlds if we have time. What that means is that for now, we're going to need to start a time lapse. It would appear to be that the best way to initiate a slime rain would be for me to go into time-lapse mode, because here we are again. I'll just quickly clear my inventory a little bit, ready for all this delicious slime. Oof, that was a lot of them. It's slime rain time. This means a second chance at the King Slime boss. And I don't need to spend any rubies. And during the slime rain, we happen to have a visitor. A visitor who is selling, or might as well buy a counterweight. And I believe a stopwatch. Is something we have not yet got. We do have a DPS meter though, and I don't think we need a water gun. Thank you very much, sir. Okay then, fight on. This time I will be using the bow a lot more, particularly to deal with the minions. Oops. He says as he switches back to his sword. Because the one drawback to the enchanted sword is it doesn't pierce. The projectiles don't pierce. Which, when you're dealing with a horde, as such can happen. Oops. Is that another pinky? Sorry, Pinky. I'll kill you later. Okay, we got Pinky at least. And that was a satisfying sound. There we go. King slime down. Oh, now we just need to find room in the inventory. Oops. And what did we get? Okay, we got the ninja set. Is there a ninja hood here as well? No, there isn't. Slime hook. I believe that's better than the squirrel hook that we've got currently. Ninja shirt is... well, we don't currently have a full set, so it is worth swapping out into the ninja shirt. And it won't be worth swapping out into the ninja pants, but how do they look as a vanity? Can't really tell. And the royal gel and the solidifier. Those are what you'd normally get. Not overly interested in the royal gel. I can just kill slimes if need be. But yes, about the same as it was before, although I did notice he can now teleport into the air, which would be the cheese fix that they did. So if you stand up on a rope, he will just teleport into the air. Aside from that, just your regular king slime fight. Okay then, that'll do for now. If we teleport over, let's see, I've got a few NPCs living in here. I went for a bit more of an organic kind of style here for the jungle. It's a fairly limited build palette, but I think it's enough to get the job done. And we've got living mahogany cradling these two houses here. They're all fairly small houses, but that's okay. It's just a way station, really. This is the only house that's not got any living mahogany in it. Build it on stilts. It's a little bit square, but you know, it's got a little bit down at the front and a cross beam at the back, so it's hopefully not too square. And there's not a window in every house this time. Possibly could have put the window in here instead of down here, but this wall needed breaking up, and this one would have looked a little bit crowded with a window in it, so I decided not to. And I've planted a gem corn here just in case. Well, wait for it to grow, see how it looks. And so I guess the trick now is to plant the pylon just in down here. There we go. Could probably pretty it up a little bit later, and I'm sure there's room to stick in another house here, maybe one in here, don't know. Depending on how I edit the time lapse. I initially built this house in here, but when trying to purchase a pylon, I moved it a little bit closer towards the other houses. It's still not quite close enough, so I had to build a temporary house up here. But you know, once I rebuilt it here, I leave it there. I can still get through all right, and you get a slightly longer stilt, so that's all good. And it means that when I do, if I do build a house up in here, it'll be slightly more distant from the others. Help keep it a little bit interesting. But yes, that means that we can now enter the jungle as easily as we wish. Reset my spawn here. So, might as well go exploring. Now, I've already come down a fair way. Oops. But that was a while ago. And it looks to be a living tree in here that I haven't explored. But I could be wrong. No, there's definitely mahogany. Let's go down a bit. What have we got in here? Another magic mirror. Might as well take Shine Potion. Help with the visibility. Oops. I've got confusion. Feral bite. Oops. Oh, I think it's time we made our exit. Actually, since we're in the jungle, probably won't be dashing as much, but so in my earlier explorations, this minecart line really just about marked the extent of how far I'd explored. I've been down there already, so I don't think I'll return down there. It's not quite as open a jungle as some. However, already been down here as well, but I'm pretty sure I died fairly soon. We have a marble biome, but it's only a small one. We do have a beehive up there. Okay. I don't need to be in the marble biome. There was a boulder trap here. Oops. And that's why I built the pylon before coming back down to explore. Because believe it or not, it's quite easy to die in the jungle. Of course, it'd probably be a lot easier to survive if I wasn't so reckless. I have already collected a number of jungle spores, stingers, and vines. So let's see, I should have enough for the snap thorn. It's another whip. 19 summon damage. I mean, it's still probably not quite going to be enough to make it competitive, but we'll take the blade of grass. 29. I mean, the blade of grass is a good sword, but the enchanted sword does have auto swing, so it still beats it out. And I do love the Amazon, but it's probably outclassed by now. I mean, it is better than the Malays, but yeah. We've just had such good luck in our gameplay so far that a lot of this isn't really worth it to us. The change they've made, you can't necessarily put all accessories into your vanity slots anymore. So your bazaar. Obviously there's nothing fashionable about a bazaar. Summon the dog. And I did kill a Dr. Bones at some point. So I got myself a fancy looking hat. And I also can't remember where you get your money trot from. It might be a Blood Moon enemy, because there was one of those while I was resource collecting. So I now have a portable piggy bank and a dog. There we go. Pet Milo, bark. Oh, adds so little gameplay, but still such a great addition. I think it's time for a boss fight. While I was doing that time lapse, I did kill enough goblin scouts to create a goblin battle standard, so might as well fight the goblin army, since the last fight didn't record properly. So, the story behind the missing footage. I have a new setup, as I'm fairly sure I've already mentioned. And of course that means a new install of OBS and Terraria, and setting up all of those settings as well. However, another important factor is there's multiple audio ports on this new setup, so I can switch between different places to plug in my headphones depending on what I'm doing, which I have been doing. Unfortunately, with Terraria, if you change the input for your audio, you need to restart the game for the audio to come through the right port. They just killed my goblin tinkerer. That's not on. So if I didn't switch over the audio before opening up Terraria, the sound wouldn't come through properly. No big deal. Just reopen the game. Unfortunately, that changes the name of the window that's open, because Terraria has a little almost like a splash text in the name of the window, which changes each time you open a new window. And OBS will try and record footage from the same window each time. You can change up the settings, but the default is a window of the same name, and if not, the same executable, which means that if you open up if you reopen Terraria, it changes the name of the window, and OBS needs to work out which window to open. And I wasn't paying attention to this, which meant that basically I was recording the audio because that was what I was paying attention to, but I wasn't recording any footage on account of OBS not being able to find the window of the name it was looking for. And a black screen being not particularly entertaining, no matter how much talking I do over it. I have not been showing you that footage, which is a little bit disappointing because we did do a fair bit before I noticed. Ah, it's a nurse. Oh, I see. The nurse not only heals herself, she heals other NPCs? Or maybe just the pet. Maybe the pet gets special treatment. Oops. Oh, I want some special treatment right now. You'd think the Goblin army would be able to tinker up some rocket boots of their own. All along. No, no! They killed the dog! You'll die for that. 17 seconds to a hill. That got a little bit out of hand in there. There we go, that's better. Oops. Doesn't help if I keep missing. I think that's a strat, getting them all bunched up together near the archers. And then just using the jester arrows. Oops. Clear out all of these archers and that should be just about it. There we go. Goblin army defeated. Not much has changed at all really. The archers are still annoying and bunch up together while you're dealing with the warriors. The sorcerers are still annoying and shoot you when you're trying to hide. Oh no, good fun. And our goblin tinkerer died and all that, I believe, so yes, but we should have a spare house for him to move into. There's no one living here just yet. Someone dying there. I think there's a chance of a ghost spawning every time you break a tombstone, which is a nice little addition. Although I'm fairly sure ghosts just spawn regularly in the graveyard as well. Well, I was going to keep going, but as you can probably tell, this episode's getting a bit long already. So I'll leave it here, and next time we can pick up with the Eater of Worlds. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and have fun until then. Bye.